hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Common Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today it's my turn. Today we're going to be walking through all of the series that I have finished in the last year. And we're going to be ranking them on the S to F tier rankings. I'm excited after hearing you go through yours. I think that we've got a good variety here. And they're not in any particular order. It's not like the order that I read them. I'm not nearly that organized. But we're going to go ahead and hop in, talk about some of these series, what it's about, and kind of what my feelings were.
So excited.
I'm so excited to talk at you. So first and foremost, we had Disobey the Duke If You Dare. This is 97 episodes on Manta, and it's a story about Lily, who is kind of like the black sheep of her family. They're looking to pawn her off. And so they kind of sell her off into this strategic marriage with a duke who is known for being monstrous, both like on the battlefield, and there are rumors of him just being an actual monster. Mm-hmm. She goes to the house and immediately her new husband will not allow her to see him. She has to wear a blindfold. And it starts just this very weird relationship. They do end up loving each other. The story is very interesting. It took so many weird turns for me throughout the series. I think it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to rate it a C.
Ooh,
it's one that I'm like glad that I read just to know.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's got a snake tail. I had to know. But at the same time, I'm not going to go back and read it. There's a lot that I know I've forgotten already. So, like, it was there.
Yeah.
And I did it.
This is one of the early ones you read, right?
Yeah, it was.
I thought so.
It completed somewhat, like, mid-year, maybe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it just, I don't know. It was kind of one of those ones you're like, I mean, I started it so early in reading my webcomics in general. It just felt wrong to leave it.
Yeah, that's
so, fair. Out of obligation, I finished it. Just so I had to know. And, yeah, I mean, the dragon features were pretty cool. So, it's not all bad.
Yeah.
Continuing on, next was Evangeline's Sword. This was 88 episodes on Manta. Mm-hmm. This story is about Eve. She is a girl who is striving to become a knight in a world where it's kind of frowned upon. They're like, you're little and tiny and you're a girl and you're never going to be a knight. Mm-hmm. And her first love, Mika, says that he'll train with her and he'll help her become a knight so they can do it together. Their entire village ends up getting attacked by monsters. And you see that Mika, in his attempts to help save the village, ends up succumbing to this dragon's fire. And he becomes infected with this curse. So it's kind of about their love story. It's also very action-packed. A lot of different things are happening. You are learning about all of these dragons throughout the story. It is a very dimensional story, and I loved every single second of it. The characters are great. The art is wonderful, and I felt like it had a really good resolution as well. Mm-hmm. So this is S tier for me. I would read this again in a heartbeat. I loved it. The episodes are very substantial, so it does take a little while to read 88 episodes, but I highly recommend it.
Not surprised with that rating.
Yeah, I know. I've talked about it. So the next story I'm going to talk about is Eye Contact. This is a story with 17 episodes on Manta. We read this for like our shorter series review this year, but it's about the Koo family, and everybody in the family, like a lot of modern day people, are just very addicted to technology. And one day, technology just fails. There's no TV, there's no phones. People's computers have gone completely haywire, and no one knows how to function in their jobs. Like, the bus schedules are off. Like, no one knows what to do. Mm-hmm. And the entire world comes to a halt. And the mom of the Koo family realizes we've almost forgotten how to interact with each other as well. Mm-hmm. So it is a really cool story about kind of coming back to your roots, the importance of putting down the screens and finding meaning outside of all of that, as well as harnessing what technology is good for and recognizing it has a place somewhere. I liked this story a lot. I don't think I'd come back to it. Like, it wasn't super memorable, but I really liked the concept. So I'm going to put it as a C tier. It was like, I'm glad I read it.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. So next, I'm going to talk about Color Eyes. This is one that we just talked about like 2 episodes back, so I'm not going to go super into detail. It's a story about an actor and his bodyguard who had a former romance, and they're rekindling and kind of working through some of the kinks from some maybe bad memories in the past. It was honestly pretty cute. I enjoyed reading it. I'd give it a B tier. I do always it's a toss-up whether or not those short series will actually feel like they have a good conclusion.
Yeah.
But I liked this one. I would recommend it. When it comes to Rusty Nail, which is our next story, unfortunately, I don't recommend that one as much. It's surprising coming from me since it is a gangster story, but it's 5 episodes on Leeson, and there was just no real resolve. It kind of felt like a porn without plot kind of a series, which honestly isn't always bad, but this one just didn't make as much sense to me. So it gets a D tier for me. It's like towards the bottom. The reason that one is D tier is because the next one is F tier. And there was like a clear distinction between the two.
Yeah.
So next we're talking about Please Candy, which is also one that we talked about just a couple episodes back. It's 5 episodes on Leeson, and for anybody who hasn't listened, Please Candy is the story of 2 friends that promised their love to each other. And when they rekindle their love, one of them decides to shove candy in sensitive areas. It doesn't have much direction at all. The story is not heartwarming, and there's not really anything that made me want to go back or recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
So this is F tier.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Now, moving forward, the next one is Restoring Art and Love. This series is 13 episodes. It is about Suna, and she is an art director. She's running a gallery, and she's having a lot of trouble with connecting to the art. Like, she's supposed to put on all these different events, and she really just isn't finding anything that speaks to her. And she has a lot of pressure from her mom to perform well. So she's just struggling to kind of make ends meet and feel like this is the right thing for her to be doing and she can impress people. And then she meets an artist named Mr. Moon, and it's about how he helps her to appreciate art and find art in a lot of the things around her, but it's also their love story. It is very cute. Honestly, the amount of attachment I had to the characters in 13 episodes was pretty impressive as well. I gave this A tier.
Yeah. I remember you talking about this one too and loving the art references in it.
I did love it. It had like those educational pieces to it, which is different from a lot of the stuff that we're reading.
Yeah.
I know that you can find strictly educational webcomics as well, which I think is a wonderful concept. It's just not usually what we gravitate towards, but it did have a lot of that where it was teaching you about the different art styles and the artists themselves and the deeper significance of different paintings. I loved every second of it. I think the only reason it's not S tier for me is just because I wanted it to be longer.
Yeah.
Like, they did such a good job at developing it, and then the ending just kind of felt like it was very rushed. Like, they had just found out that they loved each other, and then it was a time skip, and you got 1 episode to see, like, oh, they're happy, the end.
I get it, yeah. You just want a little more.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like it leaves off well, and this one I was like, I think you could have done, like, an extra 2 episodes. But it was so good. The next one that I read was also The Youth Pill. This is from Manta with 26 episodes. It is the story of Seung, and she lives in a world where you basically have the fountain of youth in a pill form. So she's actually, I believe, 114 years old, and she looks about 26. And she's trying to take advantage of the world around her because she had a really hard upbringing. She wasn't able to enjoy her 20s because she was broke and working all these jobs. And so she gets to go from a financially stable standpoint and go back to school and do things she's always aspired to do. She also falls in love with another college student who is actual college age. And there are a lot of different interesting elements in this one, almost like the moral aspect of, is it okay for people to not know your true age when you're 114 and you look 26? So it is a very interesting concept. I liked it a lot. I gave it an A tier. I would read it again. I know that now it is for Gem only on Manta. So I would personally recommend, if you are a person who gets Gems, that it is one that's worth reading. But I mean, it wasn't perfect. There's just something about it that I was like, okay. The next one I want to talk about is When Jossie Whistles. I have spoken of this one before. This story has moved me to literal tears. I love it.
I have the proof.
There is picture proof of this. When Jossie Whistles is 119 episodes on Webtoon. It is the story of Hella, and she is kind of gripping onto the past with a vice grip. She had her entire family who was a part of this village and community, and it was run by her grandmother. And when her grandma passed away, like everything just felt like it was crumbling. And she never really got her footing back. And so the village slowly started dwindling. People started moving away. And the entire story is her having a best friend who ends up getting kidnapped by this half god or demigod named Jossie. And she's determined to go and get her friend Rodrigo back. But in the process, she learns a lot about herself, about how to move forward and make peace with different things. It's, again, just a multi-dimensional story that really goes through so many different life lessons. And it's a romance, but it's also so much more than that. I adore this story. I know I've talked about it before. This one is absolutely an S tier story for me. And if you haven't read it already, then you should absolutely go do that. 100%. Now, next, I will be talking about Reunion. This one, I don't want to be confused with the Boy Love Reunion, which we are also reading. That is an ongoing series. The Reunion that I'm talking about is by the creator Stefati. It is on Webtoon, and it's 27 episodes. This story is about Rhea, and she moves back home, and it's just kind of in like an awkward spot of her life. Like, she's in her 20s, and she doesn't quite feel like she's fitting in anywhere. She's trying to get reacquainted to moving back home. And she kind of has this really bad experience at a local bar where these guys are hitting on her, making her really uncomfortable. And they give off really dangerous vibes as well. But somebody does step in to help her, and it's her childhood friend, Shiro. You find out that he is very involved in somewhat of like a criminal organization, and she's really gripping onto the past, but also they're forming like a new relationship with one another. And it's about how to get past all of those secrets that you have going on in the background. I did love this story. The art is also gorgeous, to the point that it inspired me to read other stories that the creator has. So I highly recommend it. I said it was A tier. The only reason I didn't want to give it an S tier is mostly petty reasons, because the creator had said that they would be continuing on the story, and they haven't yet. I'm always holding out hope.
Yeah.
But the story has not been continued yet, and I was very much looking forward to that. So it's always there in the back of my head. It could be upgraded to S tier.
Yeah, you'll have to revise later if there's more.
Yeah, I know. So who knows? We'll see. The next story on the list is Love Advice from the Great Duke of Hell. I know we've talked about this one, and I love it. I adore it. Yeah. Paul is the most awkward main character ever. He decides that he's in love with somebody, and he uses a spell book from the library to summon a demon into his bedroom. And when they go, yes, per this spell, you get my powers for 6 days, and then I get your soul. So what do you want to use my powers for? And he's just trying to figure out how to make this girl that he likes like him back.
Yeah.
It gets so much more complex than that. I love this story, to the point that I bought it on Webtoon, and then also am buying the physical copies. They just released the first volume, and I now own it. So 100% worth all of the time. It is one of the webcomics that I note makes me laugh out loud. It sounds ridiculous, but you look kind of like a crazy person. And I'm like, you know what? That's how you know it's genuinely funny. So highly recommend it. It's 141 episodes. Also, for the Christmas sale that they have going on Webtoon, it does have discounted prices if you want to unlock the whole series. Or if you're like me and you want to own the physical copies, they are starting to release those. Highly recommended as an S tier story for me. So, moving forward, the next story is The Reaper in the Waiting. This is a story that Alex read before, so I read it on her recommendation.
So excited that you read this one.
It is perfect. I have not a single critique for it. The art just had me amazed the entire time. Mm-hmm. It's like this beautiful, painterly, almost like watercolor style.
It's gorgeous.
But it is about the Reaper who kind of walks through and helps all of these lost spirits find their way and move on. And the spirit runs into him in the afterworld, and he's trying to help them find their way, and they just kind of cling to him. And you see that there's some sort of a lost connection between the two. And throughout the story, you kind of start to put the pieces together and you see the background that they have. It is such a beautiful story.
It is.
It's beautiful in art. It's beautiful in story. It is S tier, 100%. It's perfect. Wouldn't change a thing. So glad you recommended it. Thank you. The next one I read was Black Mirror. This one was on TappyToon to 62 episodes. This was kind of a spooky one for me, mostly because I'm a chicken. But the story is about Taejun, who has lost his memories. And he has these flickers of his past that he just really can't remember until he runs into somebody named Yeonwoo. He knows that he wants Yeonwoo to stick around, but he doesn't quite know why. Mm-hmm. And he has a little bit of foot and mouth syndrome where he just is fumbling his words and almost offends Yeonwoo as well. Yeonwoo knows him, makes it very obvious. He's like, oh my gosh, Taejun, I've been looking for you everywhere. And Taejun's just very confused. He's like, I mean, you're an attractive man. I have no idea who you are. But he needs a place to stay. And so he asks to become roommates with him. And throughout the story, you're piecing together what their past was. The story was really good. I will say there's just kind of something about it. Like the mystery of it. I wish it was bigger than it was because it really built up. So I almost felt a little let down with it. But it is definitely a good story. I'm glad I read it. I would definitely recommend it to other people as well. So it's going to be a B tier for me.
All right.
Nice solid B.
Yeah.
Next, we have Ouroboros. And I know I've recommended this one to you.
Yes.
Because Alex loves tragic stories.
I do. I was too busy reading all of those other stories, though.
All the other tragic stories. Ouroboros is a story on Leeson. It has 81 episodes. This is maybe one of the saddest stories I've ever read.
Yeah.
Novels, webcomics, anything otherwise. It is gut-wrenching to read.
I do need to read
it. This story follows Woo Young. He is your regular everyday person. He works as a police officer. He's engaged to be married. And he, unfortunately, is the victim of a kidnapping. That is how our story opens up. And he knows his kidnapper, who is holding him hostage and forcing him to be intimate together. It is his soon-to-be brother-in-law, who kind of just goes off the deep end, says, don't marry my sister, marry me, and has him handcuffed to a bed for days. He ends up getting away and making a phone call, and the brother-in-law, obviously admits to everything. They caught him red-handed.
Yeah.
But it's about trying to come back from that, about trying to own your trauma and take ownership and control of it before it eats you alive. It is gut-wrenching to read. I did cry at the story multiple times because the hurt that you're feeling for him, the entire story, just watching all of the different relationships that he had crumbling around him because he's struggling with the relationship with himself after everything.
Yeah.
It is such a good and well-written story. The art style is wonderful to the point that it led me to read another completed series on this list too. I highly recommend it if you're into really good dramas and boy loves. It is a tragic one. And so just so everyone knows, I don't remember how many trigger warnings are in this one, but definite trigger warnings for multiple things, including SA. So if that isn't up your alley, then I don't recommend it to you. But if you can handle those tragic stories, this is an A tier story.
It sounds pretty tragic.
It is very tragic. The next story that we're talking about hopefully lightens the mood a little bit. This one is The Virgin Witch. It is 151 episodes on Leezen. And for Alex, this will make a lot of sense. But if any of you have read Cherry Magic, which is a boy love about becoming a wizard and getting magical powers after the age of 30 and being a virgin, it is the exact same concept. It is literally just a girl instead of a guy. Mm-hmm. Now, this being that once you turn 30, the magical power that you get is that you can actually have sexual relations with people, but in your dreams. So, like, you can infiltrate other people's dreams, have sexual relations with them, and it helps to generate this magical power, like a generator almost.
Yeah.
So she gets assigned this beautiful elf man who is like her case manager and helps her to manage, you know, the intake of all of this different, like all of this different energy that she's supposed to be bringing in. She finds loopholes to be like, well, technically I can do everything except for P and the V with you. And so like, I can at least have some sort of like in real life contact. And the elf is like, I mean, that's not what I'm here for. And she's like, yeah, it kind of is. So that's a part of their contract. It is definitely a comedy. At certain points, it's definitely porn without plot. So like for periods of time, you just have episodes where it's just her in people's dreams. But the story is funny. The characters are really great. There is a character that you just feel secondhand embarrassment for the entire time.
Oh my gosh.
And that is a little painful. But ultimately, it was a good series. I rated it a B tier. So, the next one I have here is After Killing You. This is on Leezen with 19 episodes. When I looked back to see how many episodes this was, I thought it was more.
Yeah.
I saw 19 and I was a little surprised because there was a lot of content to go through. The story is about Yoon Sung and Hyun Woo, and they are a very poorly matched couple. Mm-hmm. Yoon Sung loves Hyun Woo and gets taken advantage of very often, but he's almost stalker levels towards Hyun Woo to the point that Hyun Woo doesn't get his own life. The story opens with them bickering, and they end up getting into such a bad fight that Yoon Sung ends up stabbing Hyun Woo and killing him.
Oh.
Yoon Sung has no idea what to do, almost goes into shock and passes out. Uh-huh. And when he wakes back up, he's in a world where that didn't happen. And Hyun Woo is still there. The body of Hyun Woo is still stabbed and on the floor. And so he has to find a place to store this because there is another Hyun Woo in this world that he's in.
Oh my gosh.
And so he looks at it as like I'm getting a second chance. Mm-hmm. But it does have a very interesting twist towards the end.
Yeah.
This story is very interesting. Unfortunately, they're not a good couple. And so Yoon Sung is taking this opportunity of like, oh my gosh, there's another Hyun Woo. And I'm like, the killing never happened, except it did because there's a body. And he still just has the goal to get Hyun Woo to love him back as much as he does. Mm-hmm. Which to me, I'm just like, you guys suck together. So the story as a concept is very interesting. And the characters are pretty wild. I gave it a C, but I'm kind of on the cusp of like a C and a D tier.
Really?
For this story. Mostly just because it didn't seem to have very much direction. Mm-hmm. It kind of just felt like you saw what happened in the beginning and then you're reliving the same thing throughout the story.
Yeah.
So it almost drug on a little bit. I wish that there was more context and at the end felt like there was more clarity to it. So I'll say like C-.
Fair enough. I was going to say it's interesting because I don't think I've ever heard you talk about that one, but it kind of makes sense with that rating.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't much to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing. And I think it's supposed to be in certain terms because it's a little confusing for everybody who's going through it. I mean, if you like mysteries and boy loves, like it is one. So it might be right for you. Who knows? But the next story we're talking about is called Recipes for a Ravenous Succubus. I have mentioned this one. It is on Leeson with 30 episodes. It is the story of Baekhyung, who is a succubus. She's hit like her 10-year anniversary. And her entire goal in life is just to suck the life energy out of people. She does this through sexual energy. So she is supposed to find a partner and basically just take their life away by sleeping with them. And then she moves on to the next person. But she's had very bad experiences. So she's not finding people who like satiate the hunger that she has, anything like that. She ends up meeting this guy out of desperation. She's just like walking through the streets. You'd think she was like starving, and in her own way, she kind of is. And so she's just desperate, and she clings on to like the first guy she sees, and she's like, please come home with me. And he's just this big nerdy guy, but he does the trick. She actually just immediately falls in love with him. She's like, wow, he's magical. And they have a pretty cute relationship. It does transform into a weird office romance. Like she eventually doesn't want to be far away and she gets a job at his office. I mean, it's a decent story. I put that at C tier.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd go out of my way to recommend it to people because it is highly sexualized and, you know, there's not too much plot to it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cute.
Yeah.
So, it was my experience. The next one I'm talking about is Murderous Llewellyn's Candlelit Dinner. This is a perfect story. Wouldn't change a single thing. It is 90 episodes on Leeson. And this is a story about Siobhan. He has had some memory loss. He also lives in what looks like a modern day London, but it's not. It's just almost like an equivalent. And he's very poor. Like, he is living off of scraps. Like, sometimes he's digging through garbage to find food to eat and can barely afford his apartment. So he lives in a really shitty and shady part of town. But Siobhan is just like, I'm going to make ends meet. He's a reporter and he goes, one day I'm going to get the scoop that I need and I'm going to be famous. And he's just waiting for his big moment. Meanwhile, he has a neighbor who is named Llewellyn, and he sits on the stairs every day peeling onions. And every day Siobhan takes note of it. He's like, who is this man and why is he peeling onions?
That is an odd thing to do.
It is a weird thing to do. So Siobhan kind of takes note of him very early on. And Llewellyn is almost just inching his way closer and closer to interacting with Siobhan. So he'll say hello and then he'll start a conversation. And it gets to the point that he invites Siobhan over for dinner. Siobhan knows that he's weird. He smells like onions. He's peeling onions all the time. He's like, okay, well, maybe it'll be fine. Like, who am I to turn down a free dinner? And he goes to Llewellyn's house, and Llewellyn is preparing onions like 8 different ways. So he makes like onion soup and baked onions and things like that. And Siobhan's like, well, this was a mistake. But while Llewellyn steps out, he's just kind of exploring around. And in the room adjacent to the dining room, he finds a dead body. And so he's trying to figure out who this person is. Yeah. Trying to make it not obvious that he's just seen the dead body in the room.
Yeah.
And trying to keep himself alive through it all. It is such a good story. The twists in here are amazing. I love all the characters. This is S tier.
Yeah.
100%. You should read it immediately.
This is another one that you told me to read and I did not listen.
There's a couple of those, I think, on both ends, so
Yeah.
it's fine. The next one is probably also one that I recommended you. It's called BJ Alex.
Yes, it is.
This story is very funny. It is about Donghyun, and he is very socially awkward. He's a college student, and he's just kind of living in his own little world, a shy little boy who's addicted to watching cam videos. And he has a favorite broadcast jockey, or they call them BJ. And his name is BJ Alex. He watches him religiously, and to the point that it almost hinders him in making friends in real life. However, he does end up going to a school social, and he meets a guy named Jiwon there. He's like the class president, and he's the one who invites him out. He's like, maybe this will be my chance. I'm going to get more involved in my school and make real life friends and stop watching this cam guy all the time because I don't want to be pathetic. And he gets plastered drunk. So Jiwon ends up taking care of him. Donghyun throws up on him.
Oh, no.
So Jiwon is like, okay, I'll clean up, whatever. And when Donghyun comes to, he's apologizing profusely, but he notices that Jiwon has an identical birthmark to the broadcast jockey that he's obsessed with.
Oh, no.
And so he goes, are you BJ Alex? And this guy is irate immediately. He's like, if you ever fucking tell someone, I will never forgive you. The story is about their budding romance. I know, it sounds so romantic to start with. Yeah. So definitely enemies to lovers. The thing that redeems a lot of this story for me, I will put as an aside, the creator of this one is the same creator as Jinx.
Yeah, and you talked about that one.
Yeah, with the boxer and the doctor. And it is so toxic. And honestly, Donghyun and Jiwon's relationship is also pretty toxic.
Yeah.
I think it's just characteristic of the creator themselves liking some of those toxic stories. However, there are two side characters, and they redeem this entire story for me. I want a spinoff of them.
Yeah.
Their names are BJMD and Chanwoo. I love them.
BJMD is a great name.
BJMD is like Master Dominant, I believe is what it stands for.
Oh, okay.
But he runs his own broadcast jockey show.
Yeah.
He's kind of like rivals with Jiwon. And Chanwoo is Donghyun's friend, but he's like super into the S&M and the BDSM, everything like that. And so BJMD takes a liking to him, and he's like, oh, you can be in my videos. Their relationship is the best. I love everything about them. I know, shocking nobody based on how tags are for a lot of the stories that I read, but yeah. I digress. So I rated it an A. I will say if BJMD and Chanwoo were not in this, it'd be closer to like a B or a C for me.
Yeah.
So they really do like up that for me. The next story is A Midsummer Night's Kiss. This is a shorter story, so it's 11 episodes total with side stories on Leeson. It is about Yoon and Seojin. They grew up as childhood friends. Because of this, they kind of butt heads. Yeah. Like, they grew up almost too close, so they're very competitive. Their moms forced them to be close and doing everything. But you do learn that Yoon has feelings for Seojin, and at one point when one of them is asleep, the other kisses them. And Seojin was not asleep for this kiss, so he learns it very quickly. And so it's kind of about how they're trying to come to terms with what their relationship is. Do they hate each other, or has it just been tension the whole time? It's a cute little story. It's a very quick read. I gave it a B. I would read it again, but it's not like top of the list.
Yeah, makes sense.
Next is Lovesick Dog. This story is the same creator as Ouroboros that I was talking about earlier. I started reading this one because Ouroboros was so gripping, and I love Lovesick Dog. There's an entire episode on it from this year. So if you want to find the Lovesick Dog episode, you can get a full story there as well. But a general spark notes is that the story is about Yigyum. He's really just a guy who's down on his luck and has the worst self-esteem ever. He unfortunately gets himself into a mostly non-consensual, like almost master-servant relationship.
Yeah.
Where he's just treated like absolute garbage, like a literal pet.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the person who is his quote unquote owner is getting married and leaves him behind in an apartment. Doesn't give him like permission to take care of himself or do anything. So he's just sitting there waiting like a dog.
Aww.
And who comes in but Jiwon, who happens to be his old master's brother. He immediately takes him in, starts taking care of him. And it's an entire journey of Jiwon helping Yeegyum and Yeegyum helping Jiwon to find the worth in themselves and take back ownership of their lives. It's a really sweet story. Kind of one of those boy loves where everything around them is tragic except for their love.
Oh, yeah.
Which can be very heartwarming at the same time. I did love this story. I gave it an A tier. So, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
The next one is Cuffed. This one, I don't know that I've talked about very much.
I don't think so.
But Cuffed is a story about Young-soo. He is just your average guy. Unfortunately, he lives in a world where being gay is illegal. And so he keeps things on the down low. He's like, I'm just going to get an apartment by myself, keep to myself. No one will know anything and I'll be good. And he ends up getting an apartment at a really like shady place. And they end up double booking the apartment. So he gets a roommate. The roommate happens to be an old friend of his from childhood. And his name is Yoon Sung. And unfortunately for him, Yoon Sung is a police officer. With it being illegal, Young-soo's extremely concerned that he's going to be arrested in his own home and found out for being gay. And Young-soo also has a lot of friends who are gay, one of which even runs like an underground gay bar. And Yoon-sung finds out and uses this information against Young-soo and says, if you can make me fall in love with you and understand what gay love is like, then I won't take you to the police.
So he just needs an excuse.
Yeah. That is literally what it is. He just hadn't come to terms with his own feelings yet.
Yeah.
It's 54 episodes on Leeson. It's a pretty quick read. It was a pretty average story. I gave it a C tier.
Okay.
The next one is Hooked and Cooked. This is a shorter story, so it's 17 episodes total. A lot of these are side stories as well. So I think the main series was like 6 episodes. But the story is about Haebom. He owns like a seaside seafood restaurant, and unfortunately he has really bad business. His food is incredible, but he looks like a gangster. He's got like a partial neck tattoo and he looks very intimidating, so people don't like coming in. But he does have one regular customer, and his name is Sang-ah. Sang-ah is beautiful. He's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and you find out he's also a merman. In this world that's not uncommon, but they are treated kind of like show pets. But Haebom is so appreciative of Sang-ah's business, and Sang-ah loves going to Haebom's restaurant because it's not very busy, so people don't crowd him, and the seafood is fresh and delicious. And so they form a relationship based off of that. Their relationship is so cute. I adore them. I loved this story start to finish. I gave it an A tier, and only because I wanted there to be more.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'm always so confused when the side story is longer than the main story.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah, that was kind of all for me. But it was a really cute story. The next one I'm going to talk about is Killer Crush. I know I've mentioned this story, but when it was over, I was so sad. This story is about Taemin, who is a trained killer. He's an assassin, and he, by day, just works out of a convenience store and looks very unassuming, puts on a fake face and a smile. But he comes back from a mission, and he has like blood and marks all over his face, and he just looks really gruff. And you see him kind of just put on the mask. Like he's looking in this car window and he's, trying to fix his face. And then he goes into work like normal. The car he's looking into belongs to Da Hyuk Kang. He is an actor who has been typecast as just the romantic male lead He doesn't really bring anything else to the picture. He wants to get into these noir films. And they just go, but you just have such a nice face. Like, you just don't look like you're gruff. So Da-hyuk sees Taemin's face and goes, I need to know how to get that face and how to look so angry all of the time, because that's what I need. That's the edge I need for my movies. So he clings on to him. He's coming to the convenience store constantly. And unfortunately, this leads to Da-hyuk getting roped into a lot of really serious and dangerous antics. Taemin also falls head over heels immediately with Da-hyuk because he is a very beautiful man who's now giving him attention. And it is the sweetest story. It is a comedy. It's perfect. It's S tier. And it's another one that you also need to read.
Yeah.
So.
Right to the top of the list.
Yes.
Along with everything else.
Exactly. The next one I read was called Under the Moonlight. It's 7 episodes. It is a very quick read. It is about a vampire who likes tormenting people. He's just typecast as being an evil person because he's a vampire.
Yeah.
And so he's like, hey, I'll lean into it. But he kind of gets this soft spot. He meets this knight who's supposed to murder him. Like, he has commands to do it. And he is just the biggest golden retriever. He doesn't want to do it. And Ayla just kind of takes him in and he becomes his new little boy toy. It is very cute. I did put it as a B tier.
Yeah.
Because I loved the story. But it's kind of that art style where they make the man's chest look like big old boobs. And it's not my personal favorite.
No.
So I did give it a B tier. Mostly because Ayla reminds me of a boy love version of Fetishu.
Oh my gosh. What's it called again?
Under the Moonlight.
Okay.
It's on Leeson.
Yeah.
And it's super quick to read. I do love it. The next one is Driver's High. This one is on Leeson with 22 episodes. It's a story about Leo. He is a race car driver and he has a romance with JJ, who is his mechanic. They have a really serious relationship, but Leo doesn't treat it that way. He treats it like it's mostly sexual, and this really hurts JJ's feelings, and JJ breaks up with him with the goal of Leo being able to be introspective and say, I messed up and I was taking you for granted. Unfortunately, for the majority of the story, Leo refuses to accept his faults. And in the resolution of the story, I didn't really feel like Leo changed much.
Yeah.
He's still kind of a little brat, which is part of his appeal in certain ways. And in others, it was very annoying. So I gave this one a C tier. The story was fine. I liked JJ a lot as a character. It was very grumpy sunshine, but it just didn't hit the mark for me. So C tier. The next one is Perfectly Broken Love. This is 30 episodes on Leeson. It is about Dongjae, who is gay and unfortunately chronically falls in love with very straight men who either take advantage of him because they know how much that he likes them, or they're extremely rude to him. They're almost offended that he has a crush on them when he expresses it. And he's just like, man, I'd just love to get into a good, solid relationship with somebody. As soon as he says this, he gets somebody who's very creepy, who comes on to him in the locker room as he's changing. And he's like, no. And he shuts it down very quickly. He learns that this man is also in his college classes as one of his like senior classmates. So he's like, oh boy, this is awkward. And he makes mention to it because they're in a group together for one of their projects. He goes, I'm sorry, I know it's probably awkward. And he's like, do I know you? And he goes, wow, well, I mean, I guess he's just offended that, you know, I didn't do what he wanted. And, you know, and then he learns that this man has dissociative identity disorder.
Oh.
And so his classmate doesn't remember doing it because that was not the identity that was taking place that when he was being hit on. It is a story that, based on some research, does not very accurately portray DID. So that could definitely be a turnoff for some people. I don't have enough background knowledge on it to be like, that's inaccurate and to ruin the story for me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if you did and you were reading it and you're like, that's not how it works, then it would probably take you out of the story. But ultimately, I liked it a lot. I liked the character. I liked that like all of the different personalities end up falling in love with the same person. And I gave it a B tier. I liked it.
I thought you were going to go twins instead of DID, but that's an interesting twist on that kind of it's you but it's not you plot.
Yeah, it really is. I would have liked it if it was twins too.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. On the cover photo, it looks like twins.
Does it?
Yeah. Not like twins like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Actual twins. The next story is Secret Alliance. This one is 46 episodes on Leeson. It is a story about Sian, and she goes to an all-girls school. She is terrified of men, just has like the worst opinion of them. Her mom has really kind of helped to instill this in her because she's like, don't get close to any men, and made her go to an all-girls school in order to avoid men at all costs. And she feels very stunted because she's now at an all-girls college and has no idea how to talk to men. And this very popular girl at school, Yuri, ends up taking a liking to her and wants Sian to herself as like a girl love relationship. So Sian is trying to turn down Yuri kindly, also makes friends with a male coworker of hers that she realizes she almost has enough disdain for, that she's not uncomfortable talking to him because he just makes her so angry. And it's kind of like a love triangle between Yuri and Sian and her male coworker. It is a very good story. There are really good twists in this one. So I don't want to give too much information. It is S tier for me. You need to read it. I've recommended it a couple times.
I know. You're not even the only one.
I know. So we are close to done here. The next story that I read was I Adore You, Teacher. This is 6 episodes on Leeson. It's a really quick read. This one I just can't really get behind. Not only is it just like a porn without plot, but it also is just manipulation on all sides. It is about a tutor who is sleeping with her professor, and the student that she's tutoring finds out and tries to blackmail her. And so on both sides, she's really just stuck between a rock and a hard place. And the professor and the student are awful. This one was D tier. The concept was interesting, like how they played around with it. But that's about the only redeeming quality.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a D tier for me. And last but not least is Full Volume. This series is 131 episodes on Leeson. The one thing I will say, this is another story where it's like 35 episodes of side story at least. I didn't do the math, but it is a lot of side story.
That is a lot.
It's actually really 2 side stories, but it's several episodes in each side story. However, it is a story about Do-won. He is a successful author, and he is also obsessed with a cam boy named Snow Tiger. And he gets interrupted a lot because he's trying to just enjoy his cam boy shows and live his life. And unfortunately, the mail people can't figure out how to deliver his neighbor's mail to the right house. He does accidentally open up a box, sees that it is definitely sex toys, and is like, how do you make this not awkward? He's a super happy, cheery golden retriever, so he's like, I'll just make sure to keep it light. And he goes to deliver this and realizes that his neighbor bears a very striking resemblance to the cam boy that he likes. So he gives him the box of toys, runs back to his computer, and realizes that the cam boy left at the same time to get a package from the door. So he puts it together that it's the same person. However, in his interactions with his neighbor, he doesn't really like his neighbor. So at first, he's starting out by giving donations on the site to make him do things that he thinks will be embarrassing, just so that he's like, haha, I'm getting back at my neighbor for being mean. And realistically then realizes this guy is taking all of my money. I'm actually the loser here. But they do end up forming a relationship, and they are both the sweetest little golden retriever boys. There are a couple notes on this one as to why I don't rate it higher, because I do love the idea of two golden retrievers together. But it is another art style where there's so much focus on big man boobs.
Yeah.
And again, it's just not my personal taste. But also, the reason Full Volume doesn't get a higher rating for me is because I don't think I can in good conscience recommend this to a lot of people, because it is very kinky. Like, has pushed my boundaries very much as to what is involved in it. And I'm just kind of like, I'm just going to skip past that episode and pretend like it didn't happen.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to give it a solid C tier. I was very conflicted. Like, I both loved this story and was disturbed at certain points, but it is wholesome and heartwarming. So.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. So it is definitely an interesting story. I can't say that I recommend that anybody else read it. So thank you all for walking down memory lane from the last year with me. I'm glad that we kind of got to hash out some of these stories, whether they went super well and we enjoyed them or not. And I hope that you join us on the next episode where Alex and I talk through the series that we read together this year. We'll kind of debate what rating all the series should be getting. But looking forward to talking to you all tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.